I'm Jacob Robertson. Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, we're continuing to follow the Holiday Farm fire burning outside of Springfield. The latest on the fire's size and where it's headed coming up.
Plus, the historic fire and winds are causing power outages all across western Oregon when customers could see the lights come back on.
Red flag warning still in effect. What we could use is some rain. Will we get any? I'll let you know.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News this morning.
Our live team coverage continues this morning on the Holiday Farm fire burning up the McKenzie, 37,000 acres. I'm Brian Anderson.
And I'm Jamie Hayes. Thank you for joining us. Multiple fires are tearing through Oregon this morning. They are shutting down roads, clothing schools, and destroying hundreds of structures. Here is the situation as of this morning. Just to the west of Eugene and Springfield is the Holiday Farm fire, which started Monday night. Officials estimate it to be about 37,000 acres, 0% containment. In Douglas County, crews are fighting 3 fires in the French Creek area near Glide, 1 in the Diamond Lake area. There's a smaller fire on the coast near Coquille, and of course that large Beachy Creek and Lions Head fire burning in Marion County, which is now bordering Lynn County. We have team coverage of the fires this morning, starting with KEZI 9 News reporter Jacob Roberts, who is live at Thurston High School with the latest on the fire there. Jacob, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jamie. Well, the latest on the fire comes from an update yesterday evening. Fire crews said it's about 37,000 acres in size and 0% containment. But we know those numbers can change fast. Yesterday morning, we were telling you 5,000. They had just told us 5,000 acres. Just moments after that, it became 35. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on those numbers throughout the day here. Now, we do know from Lane County administrators as well that the Blue River community suffered catastrophic damage. Take a look at this video that we shot with Sky 9 yesterday in the brief period we were allowed to get in the air there. The fire is burning on both sides of Highway 126 in the McKenzie River. The fast-moving flames destroyed structures on Monday and Tuesday. One estimate said 82 to 100 homes in Blue River have been lost. Firefighters had been having trouble clearing out roads and getting to residents to help them evacuate. Some firefighters even got blocked in by debris but were unharmed. The fire also burned cell towers in the area, making communication extremely difficult and even more difficult to get details on what exactly is going on up there on the fire line. Now, Lane County did declare a local emergency because of this fire. That's going to free up $500,000 for more firefighting resources to come in and help. And coming up later in the show, we're going to tell you what Governor Kate Brown is saying, not just about this fire, but about several fires that are threatening wide parts of the state. We'll have that coming up. But for now, live in Thurston, Jacob Roberts, KEZI 9 News.
All right, thank you so much, Jacob. And we have been dealing with extreme heat pretty much for most of the month of August and now through September with little rain, which really dried out that vegetation, creating these fires to move so quickly. But we might have a chance of rain.
That is the one good news that I have to report. There are signs of a pattern change possibly by next week at this time. In fact, get a look behind me here. You'll notice that over the next several days we are dry, but by next Tuesday we could be looking at our next chance of rain, first rain that we've had in quite some time. The basic pattern set up, same thing. We got high pressure the next couple of days, but an area low pressure off the coast moves in. Notice the timestamp now. We are on Monday. We got that low spinning off the coast, moisture moving into western Oregon here, and then rain breaks out by next Tuesday. So we are crossing our fingers and really hoping that this holds true, because if so, that would definitely bring us some much needed rainfall. Unfortunately, that doesn't solve our problems today. We still have red flag warnings in effect for all of western Oregon till 8 p.m. In addition to that, the air quality going to be a major problem today, and the air quality alert in effect until Thursday afternoon. Right now, we got calm winds. That's good news, but as we head toward this afternoon, we get some daytime heating. The winds once again get pretty strong, gusting between 20 and 25 miles per hour. The relative humidity is also very low, which means that we have all the correct ingredients for a favorable environment for fire development.
And now we're going to KEZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson live at Thurston High School, where the evacuation center is set up. You've been talking to evacuees all morning long. They all have different stories, but somehow there's the same heartbreaking story. Level 3 evacuations, they just had to leave as quickly as possible. But luckily, our community is coming together and helping out those evacuees.
Yeah, Jamie, in a big way. I tell you what, it is incredible to see just how much has been donated so far in just the past day at Thurston High School. Take a look at all this water, all these stacks and stacks of water bottles that have been donated. There are jugs of water on the other side of these stacks of water bottles. And then all the way down here in this bus loop area, just plenty of donations, all kinds of food, non-perishables. On the inside of the gates in the first hour of KEZI 9 News this morning, we showed you the clothes that have been donated, the personal care items that have been donated. There is help here if you have been evacuated or a loved one has been evacuated and you need food or you need clothes. Last hour, we spoke in an emotional interview with a Leeburg evacuee on what she is worried about in this fire after fleeing her home. Take a listen.
Me personally, I tend to be a sentimental person, and it's the things like your children's first handprint, those baby pictures, those types of things you can't replace. I'm not worried about a couch or a blanket. It's some heart-wrenching things if they're gone, they're gone. You can't get them back.
And you know, something else that I've gathered from speaking to some of these evacuees here, and they've even said it themselves, some of them, is there's a feeling of being lost right now for these folks who have had to pick up and leave with whatever they can fit in their cars or their campers. And so they're just taking it, honestly, minute by minute. And some of them are not able to keep in direct contact with anyone to find out the status of their homes. And so it is certainly an emotional time. And we're going to keep you updated on this developing situation. Live at Thurston High School, Brian Anderson, KEZI 9 News.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. We're going to continue to hear evacuee stories through the rest of the newscast, but let's take a look at the latest evacuation zones as of this hour. Now, remember, level 3 means go now. Those are the areas that you're seeing in red. As you can see, there is a central stretch that follows the McKenzie Highway for almost 40 miles. Late yesterday afternoon, those zones expanded to the northwest towards the town of Marcola. You can find more details of the evacuation orders on our website at KEZI.com. For anyone impacted by the fire, you can call Lane County's non-emergency call center for any information you may need. The number is right there on your screen, 541-682-3977. It's open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. After that, calls will go to the sheriff's non-emergency line. For the latest evacuation notifications, again, go to KEZI.com. Now, overnight, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office issued a level 3 evacuation order for all homes, cabins, recreation sites, and the lodge at Diamond Lake. They say there is a significant wildfire burning near the lake. Officials advise that those who choose to ignore the order must understand that emergency services may not be able to rescue them. We did reach out to the Sheriff's Office for more information, and we'll bring that to you as soon as we know more. The entirety of Douglas County is under a level 1 evacuation order or even higher. Dozens of people have been forced out of their homes because of the French Creek fire. It started about midnight yesterday near Glide and now has burned about 450 acres. Crews say they're making good progress, but it's not been easy. Karna Ellis had to leave his home right outside of Glide, and he really doesn't know what to expect when the fire is finally out.
We own 200 acres of forest land, and we're worried that all of our forest is going to burn down, the cabins, the houses that we have there.
Kyle Reed with the Douglas Forest Protective Association says they have stopped most of the spread and will be working to cool hot spots. Another fire now burning in the Umpqua National Forest. The Idlewild Park fire has prompted level 3 go fire evacuations for all homes on Moore Hill Lane and all visitors of the Bogus Creek campground. This fire is unrelated to the French Creek fire. Now, many schools have canceled class for today because of the fire danger and poor air quality. Here are the list: Pleasant Hill School District, Eugene Christian School, Alsea, Elkton, and Sutherland School Districts. Oakland and Yoncalla School District will be closed as well. Lane Electric Co-op is looking at temporarily restoring power to their customers this morning. Now, they shut down their substations at about 6 o'clock last night due to high temperatures and windy conditions. They warn that the power could be short-lived as temperatures and winds increase. Updates will be sent to customers through their Smart Hub app. eWeb says crews will be back out this morning to continue to restore power to those without it, but it will not be able to restore power to people who are in Thurston and the Walterville areas at this time, but they will continue to monitor the situation. And be sure to stay with KEZI 9 News for the very latest information on those fires. We do have a special section on KEZI.com. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Air quality is a lot worse today than it was yesterday morning at this time. In fact, look at the visibility right now. The local airports, Eugene, 1.7 miles. Even at the coast, we have that line of smoke moving offshore right now, and that is really hindering the visibility across parts of the western Oregon today. The air quality not looking good either. Many locations in either the unhealthy or the hazardous zone, so that makes sure to stay inside today. I think that as we head toward today, we're going to continue to get that easterly wind. That will really make air quality poor, but as we head toward tomorrow, we are expecting some improvements and then major improvements as we head toward Thursday night and into the day on Friday.
Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, what actions Governor Brown is taking as fires continue to rip through our area. Plus, the new coronavirus cluster has now been identified in our area, where it is and what officials are doing to contain that spread.
You're watching KEZI 9 News this morning. Live, local, late breaking. Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News this morning.
We're going to continue to follow those fires burning here in Western Oregon. But first, we want to take a look at the coronavirus numbers here in Oregon. The Oregon Health Authority is now reporting 169 new cases in the past 24 hours, bringing the total since the start of the pandemic to 28,790. 105 people are in the hospital, while 33 are in intensive care and 20 are on ventilators. 4 more people have died, including an 86-year-old man in Lane County. The state's death toll now at 486. Lane County's death toll is at 10. More than 563,000 tests have come back negative. In our viewing area, Lane County reported 28 new cases. Now, this is from the holiday weekend. 57 are considered infectious, while 2 are in the hospital. Benton County added 1 new case. No new cases for Lynn, Douglas, and Coos County. Lane County Public Health has announced that it's identified a workplace cluster at the Summit Bank on East Broadway in Eugene. Now, according to officials, 5 employees have tested positive for coronavirus, and LCPH says they don't believe the transmission with the public ever occurred. Officials say that contact investigations will be conducted, though. Summit Bank has been working closely with public health officials and is following all recommendations. As you can imagine, with the poor air quality we've been seeing because of the wildfires, Lane County public health officials say it can cause symptoms that can kind of mimic COVID. That includes watery eyes, difficulty breathing, and irritated throat and passageways. If you have muscle aches and pains, vomiting, or a fever, you should get tested because those are not symptoms of poor air quality. If you plan to be outside, a cloth mask will not protect you from the particulate matter. A spokesperson says N95 masks can help, but you have to have them fit tested.
They have to fit securely all around your mouth area and be very snug in order to provide that level of protection. And also, you cannot have facial hair and wear an N95 mask. It will not be effective at filtering out that particulate matter.
Now, he says people with respiratory problems have an increased risk of COVID complications, so it's just best to stay indoors and keep your windows closed. Back to Fire Watch now. Governor Kay Brown addressed the statewide fires in Oregon yesterday. Now, she says she's expecting continued fire danger in the days ahead. KEZI 9 News reporter Jacob Roberts joins us live from Thurston High School. And Jacob, how is the state responding to this?
Yeah, well, Jamie, you just went through some of the coronavirus information that's going on in the state. There's some interesting parallels going on with the wildfire response right now. Governor Brown said yesterday these are nearly unprecedented events for Oregon, something we heard a lot about with the coronavirus. In fact, the Oregon Office of Emergency Management that has been focusing all of their resources on coronavirus, they're now shifting some of those personnel to work on the wildfire response in the state. That's because thousands of people are evacuated up and down the valley here, some of them here in the parking lot of Thurston High School to help and get resources. Now, 2 weeks ago, Brown declared a statewide state of emergency for wildfires. That freed up all state agencies to help with the wildfire response. In some areas, the situation is just dangerous and difficult even for firefighters.
The situation is very dangerous. Wind continues to fuel these wildfires with devastating consequences across the entire state of Oregon. People's homes, lives, and land are at risk. And it's not over.
Brown also said hospitals are now coming up with plans for an overflow of patients if necessary. We know there are thousands of firefighters on the ground in Oregon right now battling the many blazes that are going on. Brown also said there will be thorough investigations launched shortly to figure out how exactly these fires started, too. We're live in Thurston. Jacob Roberts, KEZI 9 News.
All right, Jacob, thank you. If you lost your home or other belongings in the fires, here are some tips to make sure your insurance has you covered. You're going to want to start the claim process right away. Take pictures of the damage when you can. Do not throw anything away. Don't pay large amounts for temporary repairs unless your insurance adjuster gives you the all clear. Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, continued reaction from those affected by the fire in our area. KEZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson is standing by with a live report. Plus, the smoke from the fires has really just come into our area, creating poor air conditions. When we can expect to see our air quality improve?
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dylan Robichaud.
The big story right now is the poor air quality. Get a live look at the poor visibility off of our our Corvallis weather camera 9 right now. Visibility reduced to only a couple of miles here. Same thing down in Eugene. Very poor visibility, worse than it was yesterday morning at this time. We have very stagnant air in and around western Oregon at this time. And you'll notice that the air quality is almost off the charts, unhealthy right now. Do not go outside today if you can avoid it. It's not advisable. It's definitely not healthy air to be breathing. The big question everybody's asking us, when can we expect improvements to air quality? Listen up, all right? This is what we're looking at. Today, it's going to be very poor. We're going to have an easterly wind. The air is going to be unhealthy today. A slight improvement as we head toward Thursday. The winds are going to start changing direction. By Friday, we're expecting major improvements because we're going to get a westerly wind. That's going to clear things out and make things a lot better to breathe for the end of the work week. Right now, we are dry outside. We still got those fires down in Douglas in Lane counties and up in northeast into the Cascades. You can actually see them on our infrared satellite. Here is the French Creek fire showing up down in Douglas County, and then also the Holiday Farm fire. And what I like about infrared is that it senses the temperature of the fire. And so by these darker colors, you can actually see the heat coming off from the fires, just showing how big they have grown. And as a result, today we will continue to be tracking an environment favorable for fire growth and development here. Still looking at a critical fire development for eastern Lane County and eastern Douglas County. The rest of us will be in a level 1 today. At the coast, looking at temperatures climbing up to the lower end of the 80s. Once you get inland, the smoke is going to keep temperatures much cooler today. And as we get a look at the Umpqua Basin, looking at a high of 87. Coastal areas will notice that temperatures will get I'm not exactly sure what just happened with our forecast. I'm going to send it back over to you, Jamie.
All right, thank you so much, Dylan. But now let's go back to KEZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson, who is live at Thurston High School, where an evacuation center has been set up. Brian, what can you tell us now this morning?
Jamie, as we speak, 2 more cars just pulled into the parking lot here at Thurston High School. I'm going to talk now to one evacuee, Lloyd Lastly, in his car here this morning. Lloyd, you evacuated from the Vida area, I understand, just last night?
Yes, that's correct. About 24 hours ago or so.
And so how did you know that it was time to pack up and go?
A neighbor came and pounded on my door first, and then fire crew members came and told us that we all were under evacuation orders, level 3.
And when those firefighters showed up at your door, what did you tell me you noticed about them that you could tell it was serious?
Yeah, a lot of us were wondering how serious the situation was and whether or not we had to leave immediately. And there was a look in the firefighters' eyes that really let us know, as well as what they had to say, that we didn't really have any choice, that if we wanted to protect our lives, we'd better leave.
And do you know the status of your home right now?
I have no idea right now what, I was only able to grab a few things, and they won't let us back in. And there isn't a very clear picture of what the fire has moved down the canyon quite a bit past where my home was. So I anticipate that likely there's been quite a bit of damage through that area.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm all right. Stuff is stuff and it can be replaced. It's very disturbing, to have that in the middle of the night, to have that happen. And the irony was I paddled my kayak on the lake across the street under blue skies and calm weather 6 hours before.
Wow.
So it happened very fast. And that was the thing that was so surprising to me, was just how quickly something like that could happen.
Lloyd, I wish you well. I hope the best for your home and for yourself and your neighbors. And I know a lot of people are praying for you guys right now.
Thank you very much.
Lloyd, thank you. Jamie, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you. We're going to continue to hear evacuee stories for the rest of the newscast. More heartbreaking stories and the latest on the evacuations coming up. Plus, as of last night, an historic bridge is safe from fire damage. The details on this popular spot.
You're watching KEZI 9 News This Morning. Live, local, late breaking.
I'm Jacob Roberts, and coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, we are tracking multiple wildfires in western Oregon. The latest on those fires' sizes, as well as the evacuations and the smoke that some of them are bringing into town.
Speaking of that smoke, the effect it has on your health and how you can protect yourself.
What we could really use is some rain when we are expecting some showers, plus where you can go to escape the very bad air quality.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News This Morning.
And we continue our live team coverage this half hour at 6:33 in the morning on the Holiday Farm fire. We are live at Thurston High School, where there remains evacuees here this morning. I'm Brian Anderson.
And I'm Jamie Hayes. Multiple fires tearing through Oregon this morning, shutting down roads, clothing schools, and destroying hundreds of structures. Now, here's the situation this morning. Just to the west of Eugene and Springfield is the Holiday Farm fire, which started Monday night. Officials estimate it will be 37,000 acres and 0% contained. In Douglas County, crews are fighting 3 fires in the French Creek area near Glide and 1 in Diamond Lake. There is a smaller fire on the coast near Coquille, and of course, the large Beachy Creek and Lions Head fire in Marion County that is now bordering Lynn County. We have team coverage of the fires this morning, starting with KEZI 9 News reporter Jacob Roberts, who is live at Thurston High School with the latest on the fire there. Now, Jacob, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jamie, I want to point out here as the sun starts to come up a little bit, we can still see some of this thick smoke that is in the area. You can barely make out the hills that are there behind me. You saw Brian and I both wearing our masks this morning because it is still very ashy out here. It's flying out in the air, and we'll give you a better look at just how thick this smoke is here in Thurston this morning, and I'm sure in many parts of town. Now, the latest on this fire puts it at about 37,000 acres and 0% containment. Officials in Lane County said the Blue River community suffered catastrophic damage. Now, here's some video from Sky 9 that shows the scene. The fire is burning on both sides of Highway 126 and the McKenzie River. The fast-moving flames destroyed structures on Monday and Tuesday. One estimate said 82 to 100 homes in Blue River have been lost. Firefighters had been having trouble clearing out roads and getting to residents to help them evacuate. Some firefighters even got blocked in by debris but were unharmed. The fire also burned some cell towers in the area, making communication extremely difficult and difficult to get updates as well from those crews that are on the ground to say exactly what they are dealing with. Now, Lane County did declare a local disaster yesterday morning. That freed up some money, $500,000, to help fight those fires. And coming up in a little bit, we'll also tell you what Governor Kate Brown is doing to battle the multiple fires in Western Oregon. But for now, we're live in Thurston. Jacob Roberts, KEZI 9 News.
We are turning now to Storm Tracker 9 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud, who is currently at the weather center. And we're taking a look at the smoke now as it's moving across the state.
So I went ahead and grabbed an image of satellite imagery from yesterday, right before the sun set. And it really shows the extent of the smoke across the western part of the state. Get a look at this right now. Come to your TV screens. There's not a cloud in the sky. That is 100% smoke. And you can really see the impact that an east wind has, pushing that all the way into the valley and the Umpqua Basin. We're going to be looking at the exact same thing today. If you are looking to escape the smoke, heading southeast into the Cascades, I guess down maybe around Crater Lake and out to the high desert. That's where you'll be looking at clear skies today. As we get a live look here at home, definitely not looking at clear skies. We couldn't be further from it. Corvallis, very poor air quality for you today, unfortunately. Coos Bay, yesterday morning, you actually had good visibility, but you too are now seeing that smoke creep into your area, and everybody not escaping the bad air quality for the day today. It's going to be very bad here, which is why we have air quality alerts in effect until 5 p.m. on Thursday. Because of that, the visibility has actually been very low with all that smoke, dust, and ash in the air, which is really bringing the visibility down. In addition to that, red flag warnings remain in effect until 8 p.m. today, and that's because we still got those gusty easterly winds expected. Here's the good news. Today is the last day of an east wind. Finally, by tomorrow, we see a change in wind direction, and that will spell relief.
And now here's KEZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson live at Thurston High School, where the evacuation center has been set up. He's been speaking to evacuees all morning long, getting their story, hearing their heartbreaking situations. But luckily, our community, really a community coming together and helping everyone. Brian, what's the situation over there?
I mean, you just mentioned the word community, Jamie, and we look around us here at all of these donations at Thurston High School, and this is what a community is about. People have showed up big time to donate all sorts of items for people who've had to evacuate from the Holiday Farm fire and other local fires right now. As the sun begins to rise, we're seeing more people show up in the parking lot here at Thurston High School and either donating more things or picking up what they need. There is so much here, from food to non-perishables, even kids' toys here that have been donated, because remember, a lot of people who have had to evacuate the Holiday Farm fire did not have a lot of time to pack up, and so they've had to leave a lot of things behind. There are many items here if you are in need, including personal care products as well. Earlier this morning, I spoke with one woman who had to flee her home in Leeburg, and here is what she is most worried about.
Me personally, I tend to be a sentimental person. And it's the things like your children's first handprint, those baby pictures, those types of things you can't replace. I'm not worried about a couch or a blanket. It's some heart-wrenching things you'll if they're gone, they're gone. You can't get them back.
But that evacuee, along with others here who are turning out in need of assistance, say they're so grateful for what has been donated and for the folks here with the Red Cross and other volunteers that are helping out. Reporting live in Thurston, Brian Anderson, KEZI 9 News.
People have also been forced out of their homes because of the Star Mountain and Archie Creek fire in Douglas County. There is a level 3 go now evacuation order for residents at Idlewild Park down to Glide at Little River Road, including all homes along Little River Road. The Star Mountain fire broke out about 9 o'clock yesterday morning north of Highway 138. This is just east of Glide. The fires have burned between 6,000 to 8,000 acres. There's also several smaller spot fires south of the highway burning about 50 acres. Crews have been in the air and on the ground trying to contain it. Fire crews don't know what exactly started that fire. Marion County has declared a state of emergency because of the wildfires that are spreading rapidly in that county. 2 large fires, the San Am and Lionheads fire, has burned now more than 130,000 acres as of Tuesday. The Lionhead fire, located about 14 miles west of Warm Springs, had grown from 18,650 acres on Monday to 100,000 acres on Tuesday night after high winds fueled dangerous conditions. As these fires continue to burn, it's important to protect yourself from the bad air quality. Now, right now, the air is filled with particles of ash called particulates. If these particulates find their way into your lung sacs, it can lead to irritation and inflammation. Now, Dr. Leslie Penka from Peace Health Hospital tells us how it can be problematic.
All of which makes it harder to breathe and to have good air exchange. And you feel that, and that can be represented either as a cough from the irritation or as feeling difficulty breathing, like your chest is heavy, you've got some tightness, or it takes extra work to breathe and move air.
Says ideally people should stay inside with doors and windows shut as much as possible to keep the bad air particles from getting inside your lungs. And be sure to stay with KEZI 9 News for the very latest information on the on Fire Watch. We have a special section on KEZI.com. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Now to coronavirus coverage, where the Oregon Health Authority is reporting 169 new cases in the past 24 hours, bringing the total since the start of the pandemic to 28,790. 105 people are currently in the hospital, while 33 are in intensive care and 20 are on ventilators. 4 more people have died, including an 86-year-old man in Lane County. The state's death toll now at 486. Lane County's death toll is now at 10. More than 563,000 tests have come back negative. In our viewing area, Lane County reporting 28 new cases from the holiday weekend. 57 people are considered infectious, while 2 are in the hospital. Benton County added 1 new case. No new cases for Lynn, Coos, and Douglas County.
Fire danger remains extreme across all of Western Oregon. No outdoor burning, and there's 0 exceptions to that through the end of the work week and into the weekend. We also have red flag warnings in effect for all counties in Western Oregon. They expire tonight at 8 p.m. At that point, we'll start to see that strong east wind eventually diminish and change directions overnight tonight. We are continuing to track that very low relative humidity too. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll be talking about a slight chance of rain here as we head into next week.
All right, Dylan, thank you. Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, major highways are closed this morning due to fire danger, the areas that you need to avoid. Plus, a ban on all burning within Coos Bay city limits is in effect till at least next week. What this means for you.
You're watching KEZI 9 News this morning. Live, local, late breaking. Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News this morning.
We are back to Fire Watch this morning. We have been hearing heartbreaking stories all morning long from the evacuees from the Holiday Farm fire. Let's go back to KEZI 9 News anchor Brian Anderson, who is now live at Thurston High School, where the evacuation center has been set up for those displaced by that fire. And Brian, we're hearing from another evacuee this morning.
Jamie, that's right. Jared Hansen is standing by with me now. He just popped out of his car after getting here last night to this evacuation center. And Jared, tell me, where did you exactly have to flee from?
Walter View, Oregon.
Okay.
Twin Falls Road.
And when did you go?
Yesterday.
Okay. How'd you find out that it was time to get out of there?
Well, the police were there, and they were saying that we were in imminent danger. So we had to get our things and go. I guess they were at a certain level of evacuation, which I was unaware of, so I had to be told directly by the police.
So how much time did you have to get out?
Well, I had a half hour, but I left in like 10 minutes. Just threw everything in the car and went.
How are you feeling this morning?
Oh, a little achy from sleeping in the car, but otherwise I'm all right.
And do you have any idea about your home?
No, I hadn't heard yet.
That's got to be tough.
Oh, well, yeah. There's a lot of things there, that I think about. I hope they don't burn up.
And in your hands, you have shampoo, you have other personal care products.
Well, when you leave in 10 minutes, there's some things you're going to forget, So it's great that this is here for people to come and get stuff that they don't have. It's not like you can go back to your house when it's on fire, so.
Well, I wish you the very best. I hope that your home is still standing, and a lot of folks out there are having you and everyone else in their thoughts and prayers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Jamie, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
And as that evacuee just mentioned, a lot of them, they literally only had minutes to get out of the way, forgetting all those important things. They're just trying to grab what they can. So again, those evacuation center and donation center at Thurston High School. Now, right now, Highway 126 is closed between Springfield and Belknap Springs. That's milepost 10 to 55. The road is also closed from Highway 20 down to the Springs on Highway 126. Also closed is Highway 242 or Old Mackenzie Highway. It's closed all the way up to just west of Sisters. Now, we've gotten a lot of emails regarding this bridge right here. As of 9 o'clock last night, the Good Pasture covered bridge is safe from the Holiday Farm fire. This is according to the fire's Facebook page. Now, the bridge was built back in 1938, and according to the Eugene Cascades Coast website, the bridge is the second longest covered bridge in Oregon, sitting about 165 feet. So if you've seen any Facebook posts saying it's been burned down, or people have been asking us, so I know I got a lot of emails about it. Maybe you've got family members asking about it. You can tell them that as of 9 o'clock last night, it's safe. Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, we're going to check in one last time with our team at Thurston High School, where the evacuation site has been set up. The latest on the fire containment and acres coming up.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dylan Robichaud.
Man, yesterday the smoke was so thick that it kept high temperatures about 20 degrees cooler than what all of the forecast models were suggesting. In Eugene, we only got up to 76 degrees for the high temperature. Today, I predict that we'll be a couple degrees warmer than that, but we're not going to be far off the mark from what we had for highs on Tuesday. Right now, as we get a look at what we can expect, fires will continue to grow today as we still have that easterly wind. Air quality will slightly improve on Thursday. In fact, let's get a look right now at the air quality, and hazardous really all across the western part of the state, either that or very unhealthy, and that does extend now down to Coos Bay, where they are looking at that unhealthy air quality. So when will the smoke clear? That's a very good question. Today, I can promise you it's going to be bad pretty much all day long. As we head toward Thursday, the winds turn calm. That will be good to prevent fires from spreading, but it's not going to do a whole lot for the air quality. The air quality will improve Thursday night into Friday as a west wind returns. That will really help to filter out a lot of the smoke. Right now, we got that strong easterly wind. The reason why we have this east wind is an unusual low off the California coast, which is really funneling in a lot of air around that, and that's why we have that wind. Now, what we could really use is some rain. Unfortunately, we're going to be dry the next few days. There are signs, however, of a pattern change early next week. Let's talk about that right now. Notice the timestamp. We are going to jump ahead to Sunday as we get increasing cloud southerly flow, and we do have a low offshore. The models are differing on what's going to happen with this scenario, but there are signs that our pattern could turn wet by Tuesday of next week. So at this point, we're just going to hope that's true, because we could definitely use some relief for these wildfires. In the Umpqua Basin, temperatures pretty hot tomorrow and then cooler Sunday and Monday. Look at that, 70s up in the Cascades. No smoke today, but your smoke will return Thursday and Friday as we get west winds in the valley, looking at 90s on Thursday and then 70s Sunday and Monday.
The Coos Bay Fire Department has suspended all burning within city limits until at least September 4th at 8 a.m. The ban impacts all open burning and burn barrel use. Recreational fire pits are not allowed, and power equipment should not be used in dry grass. The use of barbecues are allowed if the gas or electricity can be immediately shut off. Also in Coos County, the Elliott State Forest is now closed due to the fire danger and will remain closed until further notice. If you need help finding out where family and friends are, consider using American Red Cross's Safe and Well website. The address right there on your screen. You can let people know your status and location. Don't go away. We'll be right back with one last look at the fire.
You're watching KEZI 9 News This Morning. Live, local, late breaking.
Welcome back. Let's check back one last time with KEZI 9 News reporter Jacob Roberts, who is live at Thurston High School. And Jacob, what can you tell us now about the fire?
Yeah, Jamie, we're here at the evacuation point. You can see this morning still very smoky out here. Hard to make out the hills behind me, ash flying in the air once again. But the fire itself, as of last night, 37,000 acres have burned. It's 0% contained. Lane County said that the Blue River community sustained catastrophic damage. Firefighters telling us between 82 and 100 homes destroyed in that area. It's also been difficult for firefighters, that is, to get in and out of there because of so much debris on the road. A local disaster has also been declared by Lane County. That frees up $500,000 to bring in additional resources. We're going to keep you updated on air and online at KEZI.com. We'll send it back to you.
All right, we do want to let everybody know that we are getting information as soon as we can and bringing it to you, to the public. So I know it's really stressful time and an emotional time for everybody out there, but we are working very hard to get you the latest information. Again, we're going to have more today at midday starting at 11. That includes air quality as well. Thank you for joining us here for KEZI 9 News this morning. We'll see you back here at 11.